Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Red Queen Tarot. Today I'm going to be doing a pick a card for the full moon on October 9th, 2022, happening on Sunday at 4:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In sidereal astrology, this full moon is taking place with the Sun conjunct Venus at 22 degrees Virgo. That's the third decan of Virgo. If you divide each sign into 30 degrees, then it contains three 10-degree parts called decans. So the third decan of Virgo has a corresponding tarot card, and for that it is the Ten of Pentacles, which is represented by Mercury in Virgo. Mercury is the ruler of Virgo, and the way that we can interpret this astrological influence and the Ten of Coins, with the sun being there and Venus being there, the goddess of love and beauty and wealth and material goods. We have the Ten of Coins being Mercury in Virgo, a mental attitude Mercury of appreciation for the humble, the modest, and the ordinary, Virgo. So taking pleasure and gratitude and appreciation for the little things in life, those comforts and things that we can rely on every day to be there for us. And then finally, opposing that, you have the moon. Now, when the moon is opposing Venus, there could be a strong feeling of attraction or need for affection. It could also be highlighting some maternal wound or feminine wound that we have inside of us at this time. Whether you are a mother, it could be an illumination of an issue between you and your child, or if you had not the healthiest relationship with your mother growing up, this could be an opportunity to expose that discrepancy and heal it, bring it to light, because the moon is also conjunct Chiron, the wounded healer. It's an asteroid, but it's represented by the mythology of Chiron, who was the centaur who taught medicine and healing. He could heal everyone but himself. So that being in the 12th house, having to deal with our subconscious, maybe something we've kept hidden for a long time, and now to have a full moon in that placement and happening at 22 degrees, the master number of master builder, master destroyer. So there, as full moons are a time of releasing, we could be releasing ourselves from unhealthy relationship patterns or old wounds that we've kept hidden. This is a good time to do emotional cleansing and clearing, dealing with the water element of the moon being in Pisces. And it could be illusions being stripped away as well, because it's bringing light to a situation, bringing the truth forward. And also opposing this then would be the earth element of Virgo, and that water and earth are feminine elements, fire and air are masculine. So this is more of a receptive energy. The moon rules the sign of Cancer. The moon card in tarot is ruled by Pisces. So the moon flows, ebbs and flows like the tides, controls the tides. And there's cycles and rhythms to everything, and that's the passive flowing nature of feminine energy. But water also cleanses and purifies, and but it also is very powerful. It can carve stone and erode beaches. Obviously, we've seen the devastation that floods can bring, so never underestimate the power of water. And the Ten of Cups, as I was mentioning, is where the third decan of Pisces, and that's where the moon will be conjunct Chiron. And the meaning of that is the drive to establish one's domain or territory, Mars, is tempered by compassion and an awareness of a higher reality, Pisces, underlying everyday family events. So that works well, being in direct opposition to the Ten of Pentacles, the third decan of Virgo, the everyday, the mundane, having an appreciation for that and our loved ones that make up our reality. Okay, so I've gone ahead and shuffled these cards and laid out the piles to choose from. We'll have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. I haven't looked at any of these cards, including these archetype cards propped up against the backdrop there. So we'll all look at them together. And first we have, if you'd like to pick with crystals, we have a tiger's eye, these 3 pyramids here. So tiger's eye resonates with the solar plexus chakra, strength, courage, um, having the strength to be your unique self and shine your unique heart light. Secondly, we have Lapis Lazuli. This is often revered in ancient cultures for royalty. It was worn around the eyes in ancient Egypt to help improve eyesight. So it does have to do with truth, wisdom, clarity. It works with the third eye and throat chakra being blue, because those chakras are indigo and blue. And then we have the Dragonstone, which is a type of jasper. It's green and usually red, but this one has a bit of a purplish tinge to it. I know my camera is terrible. I apologize. But this has to do with opening the heart chakra. Its green color corresponds with the heart, and it can also be attached to the root chakra, the red color that goes throughout. But this being more of a purple tinge, I almost feel like it connects with the crown. So take a moment, if you haven't already, as you've been listening to me drone on about astrology, and see which pile resonates for you, and we'll look at them one at a time. If you need to, pause the video. I'm going to put some timestamps down below for each pile. Okay, here we go. I'm going to back this up. Okay, pile number 1. Here we go. Your archetype card to start this reading is number 56, the Gem. It's interesting seeing this very colorful, multifaceted gem in the middle of a, looks like a patch of weeds or grass, kind of like a diamond in the rough, is what I'm feeling here. Okay, I'll read about that at the end so we can see how it ties the reading together. I'm going to put your crystal there. Okay, now I have 3 tarot cards for us, the one in the middle, and then I have 2 clarifiers on the side. And then we have some oracle cards to finish up, and Lenormand deck if we need to clarify. Okay, so let's start in the middle with this large Syrian starseed tarot. It's the 3 of crystals, or the 3 of coins, Trinity, foundation, working together, bringing yourself together, collaborating with like-minded individuals in order to achieve a higher goal, in order to establish a solid family unit, perhaps, or family-like unit. So because these cards are a little unique in their illustration and category, I wanted to see what the book has to say about this. 3 cut and polished crystals sit outside a crystal shop, the fruit of a true labor of love. The shop itself is encrusted with crystals and minerals, the manifestation of a vision or inspiration of the individual who carved the quartz crystals and set them out to invite commerce to the shop. Clearly, the little gem of a shop is designed with love and imagination. Well, we did start the reading with the gem. So this could be a work project or studio physically that you're putting together with people, and you're trying to work out the logistics, putting on final touches, beautifying the place. Works well with Venus conjunct the Sun, something that can bring you financial independence, that 10 of coins we talked about, that fulfillment of material wealth. So this could be, again, the beginning of something great that's going to work with your career. So how does this image speak to the querent of manifestation in work, career, and things that bring security into one's life? One need merely explore the design and creativity employed in setting up shop to know that this sort of dream brought to manifestation. It's a warm, inviting, and love of the material, the crystal, permeates the walls. Most likely it has been created by more than one hand. At least a stonemason, an artist, and a crystal carver have joined forces to build the structure and fill it with crystals. The message emerges with clarity and brilliance. When you bring love and commitment to the realization of your dream, you will ultimately manifest it in reality. So yeah, love and commitment, working together, reaching, building these partnerships in order to establish a new way of life. And next to that, we have the moon, okay? I mentioned that Pisces rules the moon. It's a very watery card. The moon is in Pisces for this experience, and that's going to allow us again to get in touch with our subconscious mind and really reprogram it. For those of you who or find out what program has been written or running in your mind a majority of your life, and where did that originate from? And this may be a good time for you to be able to reflect upon it and rewrite it. Next to this, we have the Page of Wands. So fire energy, this is great because right after the third decan of Pisces, where the moon will move from water into fire of Aries, that's the new beginning here. This is an immature idea, though. It's like a fresh new beginning. Again, this could be three people, like I said, putting their heads together in order to formulate this plan. Because right now it's very much in the ether. It's just abstract thought, idea, vision, but in your mind's eye, it's already this shining finished product, this polished gem that's ready to be shared with the world. So it's still a project that's in its infancy, but it's one that's taking shape. And let's see our next card. For the oracle cards, we have the Queen of the Moon Oracle, Resistance, number 25. Familiarize yourself with how resistance manifests for you, the overt and the covert. If you continue to have doors slammed in your face, turn around. There will normally be an open door. Procrastination is just another kind of fear. Move forward with confidence and persistence. I flow through resistance and I am in control. So, yeah, it's, again, you might be getting in your own way. Mentally, if you have fear, that could be the moon, the meaning of the moon as well, having fears or doubts about being successful in your endeavor. And that could be what is stopping you from actually going through with your idea or bringing it in, taking the physical steps necessary to manifest it. Next to that, we're going to look at your mystical wisdom, good fortune, invite magic in. That almost feels like, serendipity. There's obviously wealth to be had here in the Three of Crystals. And this is asking you to have faith and not resist the next steps, because you have to invite the magic in so it can work for you and not against you. As long as you're putting up the walls, you can't let this flow come into your being. Or if you're holding on too tightly to something from the past or some pattern of living, like you get used to working your job 9 to 5 and you're worried about, oh, well, how will I live after I give that lifestyle up and start working for myself, for example. So it's like this kind of fear or anxiety that's kind of, you have your foot on the gas pedal and the brake at the same time. And this is telling you to take your foot off the brake and just let it roll. So that's what this go with the flow, this feminine energy of the new moon, the water and the earth working together to, when you plant your seeds, then water them with your energy every single day diligently. That's how you begin to see growth. And your angel and ancestor card is going to be the air guardian. Shift your perception. Okay. Read about the air guardian briefly, and that could be energy of Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. Change the way you think and you will change your whole reality. Yeah, what's the subconscious script that's been playing on loop in your head in the moon that's creating this resistance? So change the way you think. The Air Guardian card represents the angels of the air element. Traditionally, air is all about thoughts, thinking, and everything that's happening in the mind. These angels can help you to overcome any thoughts that have come back to haunt you from the past and to see the world more clearly. They are guiding you to change the way you think about certain situations, as this could be standing between you and greatness. When this card arises, it's an opportunity to learn about your way of thinking. You are being guided to recognize that not all you see is exactly the way you see it. Sometimes the mind can play games, and sometimes our perceptions can be wrong. If you are being challenged or feel that there's a lack of clarity and direction in your life at the moment, there's a good chance that the way you're thinking or what you're focusing on has a lot to do with that reality. You are being guided to open your eyes and your mind to go beyond any limits you have set for yourself and recognize that the way you see the world is how you will experience the world. Opportunities are moving in your direction, but they will only open up for you if you are ready to do the internal work to support them. Yep. That it says about opportunity will be here, but it'll only open up for you. And this is telling you to invite magic in. So invite the opportunities in, but you can't support them if you're still holding on to these painful or suppressed thoughts, emotions, or experiences from the past. You have to let go of that in order to let these opportunities take root for you. And it doesn't have to be a business, it could be a partnership, but there's multiple people involved. It's not something you're undertaking on your own. Okay, and we do have speaking of a journey, we have the journey of love here, the cloak. Okay, this kind of this resonates with the moon card here. The cloak is what's hidden. The moon is an aspect of secrets or hidden or the subconscious. So, in the journey of love book, the cloak. Around you there is a cloak of your own creation. Perhaps it has served you for a time as an invisible form of protection, as a way to claim needed solitude, as a way to retreat inside to find out what you truly feel, what you truly need to find yourself after being lost in an ocean of thought and emotion, not always your own. Yet the time is fast approaching when you will no longer require that cloak. You have attained an integration within, a knowledge of self that makes it possible for you to connect with the world, with others, in a way that does not leave you lost and struggling to find yourself. You have learned how to hold yourself. You have learned how to do this well enough that you can successfully hold yourself and hold another too. You don't have to push the world away. You can invite it in and play. The message that this oracle brings to you is that you can safely release the forms of security that you once held. You do not have to abandon your boundaries with others. Rather, your boundaries are so functional that you can enter into relationships with more openness, trusting that your boundary will naturally assert itself when necessary, giving you the connection to yourself that you need when you need it without having to withdraw from relationship entirely. It is time to trust your own boundaries and practice letting them help you whilst actively engaging in deeper relationship. You'll have fun. Okay, so that really resonates with the tiger's eye that we had at the selection, though. That's your solar plexus. That's developing a strong ego. That's you feeling comfortable in your own skin and following your pursuit and your passion in the Page of Wands with this clear decision, this clear vision that you've created for yourself. But that only comes through having a strong ego and being focused on what it is that serves your purpose. That it's not just, what other people expect of you, what kind of job your parents wanted you to have when you were a kid. But this is you following your heart. And Leo is the lion hearted. And I think of that because it's a tiger's eye. You have those large predatory cats. Leo rules the heart chakra. And this is for the solar plexus, but it's the same idea. It's following your own energy. You're your own solar system this month, your own power plant. This looks like the sun and the moon to me. So you really have the power this month to take off this cloak, any kind of protection or reclusiveness that you've engaged in lately, because you are a diamond in the rough. You are shining through. Like, you can't keep this light hidden forever. It's meant to be shown and shared with the world across the airwaves for some of you. So you could be giving lectures or podcasts or something in a teaching role. Some of you might be spreading your words, and they're going to have a ripple effect on everybody who hears them. And finally, we're going to look at the animal medicine card. Wow. Okay, so I was talking about the full moon inside real astrology being at 22 degrees Virgo, which is 22, the master builder number. It's clear that you are building something here in the Three of Crystals. And the beaver constructs the dam and constructs his home. He's just industrious, but he has, again, the power to change water, to change currents and directions, form ponds, change the course of water, as we mentioned. So, however that applies to you and resonates with you, it's like your will as the beaver is what's affecting the flow of energy from this point on, because you're directing the emotions towards construction of your heart and what you believe in, what's your truth. Okay, so the beaver, it's also, yeah, it's diligence, hard work. They say busy as a beaver, and it does take a lot of planning and groundwork and laying the foundation of your ideas before you can actually begin construction. Beavers are architects, they're builders. It takes, these what's the word? Domains don't just get built overnight, All right, 22. Okay. Beaver is the doer in the animal kingdom. Beaver medicine is akin to water and earth energy, okay, right in alignment with this new moon, and incorporates a strong sense of family and home. If you were to look at the dams that block woodland streams, you would find several entrances and exits. In building its home, beaver always leaves itself many alternative escape routes. This practice is a lesson to all of us not to paint ourselves into corners. If we eliminate our alternatives, we dam the flow of experience in our lives. A doer is characterized by industriousness, and beaver knows that limitation cancels productivity. Yeah, you can't not pursue something because you're afraid of failure. Failure is part of the process. It's how we learn and modify our approach. Beavers armed with very sharp teeth that are capable of felling whole trees. Imagine that those teeth could do to the limbs of predators. From the rear, beaver is armed with a paddle-like tail that aids in swimming as well as guarding its behind. This tiny mammal is well equipped to protect its creation. To understand beaver medicine, you might take a look at the power of working and attaining a sense of achievement. In building a dream, teamwork is necessary. To accomplish a goal with others involves working with the group mind. Group mind constitutes harmony to the highest order, without individual egos getting in the way. Each partner in the project honors the talents and abilities of the others and knows how to complete the piece of the puzzle that belongs to them. In working well with others, a sense of community is achieved and unity ensues. If beaver has appeared in your spread, it may be time to put your ideas into action or to complete some project that has been neglected. So maybe you have a habit of starting things and not finishing them. That's the Page of Wands. It's very impulsive. Oh, I have this idea. I want to take action now, which is fire, and make that, apply it. But it never fully matures because you don't ever invest all your attention into that project. If your energy is scattered around too many places, it's never going to develop fully in one area. Beaver card could also be asking you to settle differences with fellow workers or friends. Beaver tells you to look for alternative solutions to life's challenges and to protect the creations which you put your love and energy into. Sometimes Beaver brings you a warning to watch your back. If this is your message, you will know it by the position in which the card falls in your spread. If the card falls in the south position, it is to remind your child self that trusting is okay, but caution is necessary. Use discernment and all will be fine. Okay, so that was just referring to a card layout that comes as a suggestion from the medicine deck. But in this, we're just doing a single card pull, so I don't think that applies, but it's just use discernment and, trust your judgment. Again, like with the cloak coming off, trust that you don't need the cloak anymore, that your boundaries are strong enough that they'll naturally emerge when they have to, when you know that a boundary is being crossed. So just use this clarity in the air guardian, discernment, and ability to see the truth of a situation. If somebody is you're going to become a natural lie detector this month. You're just very keen at uncovering deception. You've learned your lessons, perhaps, from the past. All right, finally, we're going to cap it off with this gem card number 56 from our archetype guidebook. Alrighty. Okay. The diamond, the gold, the inner treasure. Okay, so I mentioned a diamond in the rough. And another theme is coming to mind is turning lead into gold, which is alchemy. Um, so transforming your life from being led into a position that you don't thrive in, or becoming gold and taking control of your life and steering it in the direction that it was meant to be. That is the whole reason you came to Earth, to change things, to change reality. You didn't come here to, like I said, your light is shining bright underneath that cloak, but if you're concealing it, what good is it? You didn't come here to hide. Okay, so the book says there are infinite names for the gem. It is also known as the jewel, the star, the talent, the gift, the gold. One thing for certain is that it is found deep within a substance that is very much unlike it. For example, a diamond in the rough. The gem always stands in contrast to its surroundings. You can't find it when you're among comforts and pleasantries. Precious stones develop slowly deep in the earth, amid pressure and darkness. Discovering the gem requires a decent descent beneath the surface, where there is no definitive map. Yet the longing to touch the true gem within us is so strong that we cannot help but seek out its radiance. Your gem, like your destiny, is unlike any other in the entire world. Keep digging. I don't think I've ever pulled this card yet in my readings, so it was really wonderful to read about that. I'm glad you picked this pile. I hope you enjoy this card. I'm going to continue to reading the little notes on the side here. In mythology, the diamond is often linked to the daimon, Daimon, or inner light that leads us toward our true self, our purpose, our destiny. And that's kind of what it feels like. I was talking about this cloak figure, and this looks a lot like the Hermit card in the traditional tarot, where the man is wearing a gray cloak, standing at the top of the mountain and holding a lantern in his hand, and that is ruled by the sign of Virgo, which is where the sun is for this full moon. So the lantern that the hermit is holding, it's his truth, it's his light that he's holding up for the world to see. And by doing so, he's also illuminating the path for people around him. He's guiding them through the dark, just like you're being guided through the dark by somebody else right now. But it's for your purpose to kind of pass the torch, take up this torch is being handed to you. And now it's like your job to spread this light to other beings and show them that they need to investigate what their purpose is and what their unique light is. And that's probably what this collaboration, this coming together is. It's like you can recognize another person who has their light turned on inside, and you're able to come together like that, perhaps around or shortly after this full moon. Unique, shining, generative, and irreplaceable. Yeah, those are the qualities of Uranus. Uranus is in Taurus, the Earth sign right now that's trining Virgo. So I'm not sure if Uranus is directly involved in this full moon. I'm not a master astrologer, but it certainly is a theme of these years that we're going through, because it moves very slowly. So Uranus, the unexpected, the creative, and Earth being the element of the physical realm. So there's a lot of changes going on to our physical world. Okay, and the moments of your life that glimmer are clues to where the gem resides. Don't covet the sparkling diamond of another. The gem is like a fingerprint, never to be repeated again. Find yours. I really enjoyed that reading, Pile 1. I hope you did as well. If so, let me know what you got out of it in the comments below. But thanks again for tuning in. If you were drawn to another pile, feel free to check that out if you like. Otherwise, check out your monthly readings by sign. Thanks again. Take care. Moving on to pile 2. Okay. Here we are. Welcome, pile 2. You chose the Lapis Lazuli, our stone of truth, clarity, wisdom, and keen eyesight. So maybe sharpening the perception of your third eye, enhancing the power of your throat chakra to speak clearly, logically, and comprehensibly to anybody who listens. So, okay. I'm going to take a look. Let's start with your archetype card. We have the Anima Mundi. Okay, this is equivalent to the World card in the tarot. I believe it's the last card in this deck, yes. So it's a finality, a completion of a cycle. This looks like the enlightened being in the center, like having traveled this entire wheel, everything that he's experienced and collected as far as what he's perceived or come to know as his reality. So we're going to save that reading for the end and see how it ties into the rest of the cards. I have 3 tarot cards here. The first is the Syrian Starseed Tarot, because it's unusually large. And then I have 2 traditional Rider-Waite tarot cards to clarify. So in the middle, we have the Two of Orbs, or the Two of Swords. Now this looks most remarkably like a Two of Pentacles in the traditional tarot, which has a figure balancing or juggling what looks like 2 coins. 2 possibilities. But the Two of Swords traditionally is a woman on her knees, blindfolded, her arms crossing her chest, and a sword in each hand. Swords are thought, they're air. We have this Lapis Lazuli to remind us of the clarity of thought. And this is like not having all the facts, possibly, having to make a choice, left or right, which way to go. Which truth feels right to me, which perception of reality am I going to release, and which am I going to hold on to. So let me see what this book has to say about it, just because it's such a unique deck and their symbolism is different from any of the other decks I've used. The Two of Orbs. A woman's outstretched hands reveal 2 orbs, one positioned above her head, the other below, representing the imbalance, perennially seeking resolution in our polar aspect of the number 2 vibration. They are different in their aspects as they are the same. She is poised gracefully on a path that leads from the deep waters of her subconscious to the intuitive mind, suggesting that she can draw from that source as well as she ponders the 2 different but equally interesting oppositions available to her. She is reflective, without struggle, moving out of the deep waters of the emotional body through the haze, and it can manifest in the hours of greatest change, and onto higher ground. Her semi-naked body reflects her vulnerability as the drape suggests she is covered, whatever her decision will be. Where there are 2 opinions, ideas, and visions, there can be conflict, or simply 2 perspectives that may require reconciliation in order to achieve clarity. Often 2 sides of the concept must be weighed against each other to evaluate which is more important or vital aspect at this time. What are you deliberating about? What are the pros and cons of the matter at hand? How can you find balance and harmonize the opposition in your mind to move forward constructively? What choice are you facing that you feel must be made? Okay, so it's interesting that I intuitively chose this setup to have a central card and one on each side. And now here we have a depicted representation of that. So let's see if these represent our 2 choices. Okay, first we have the Magician. And on the other side, the Six of Wands. Well, to me, this definitely represents the fact that I don't think there is a wrong choice. If you're concerned about deliberating, there's either the choice to be correct, you can be right, or you can be happy. I think the Magician is happy, and this Six of Wands character is right in the fact that he feels like victorious, that he won a battle, and the Magician's not even involved in the battle. He's happy because he stepped outside of that conflict. He created a third option C. Okay. But yeah, the Magician is, they're both very fiery energy, as the Magician is ruled by Aries, being the first sign of the zodiac. But this is creative energy, power. The Six of Wands is also creativity, as it's a fire element of spirit. But it's like there's something being mastered here. It could be a mastery of your mind, given that the magician is here. Everything originates in the mind. The infinity symbol is above his head, representing his infinite connection to source. His wand is up in the air, and his finger down at the earth, as above, so below. What he commands is so. And that maybe is creating this mastery or this victory that's being felt. So let's see if we can get more information about this situation. Discernment. Okay. Number 10, the waxing gibbous. So that's moving into the full moon energy, growing intuition. Notice how her head's in the clouds. Things are obscured. Her third eye is blocked. There's something she's not seeing. So hopefully the lapis will bring clarity to that situation. I'll set it right there with the stone. And I'm going to read about it for you from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. Take care in your choices now. Look carefully and judge wisely. There may have been something difficult to see, something that has been obscured, but now it has been revealed to you. Examine it closely. Okay, so something again could be illuminated under the full moon. In the tropical or western zodiac, this full moon's happening with the sun in Libra, which is an air sign and is represented by the scales of judgment. And here we have this card of discernment. So again, there's going to be facts revealed to you that I think are going to help you make the wisest decision that are going to lead to a positive outcome for you. I take my time to be accurate and precise in my discernment. When you get some years on you, hopefully the time you spend moving and choosing upon this earth brings you some kind of wisdom. Some of that wisdom will be bred of hindsight and perspective. All of us, if we are engaged in life, make good decisions and poor ones. Sometimes we make spectacularly bad ones. And all of us get hurt others, learn, forget, fall over again, get up, but hopefully we grow, we change. We are able to spot where our sore points are and fix them if we so choose. We are able to take a good look at what is painfully recurring in our lives and deal with it. Yes, baby, deal. The secret here is discernment, real discernment, really making it a priority to take time to ensure acuteness of judgment, really looking at the fine print before you buy. Instead of taking things on face value or rushing into surface judgments, take your sweet time to form friendships and business relationships. Put your energy output into perspective, looking at evidence instead of only just believing. Feel and act when you are being trodden upon or having your boundaries overstepped or when something doesn't quite feel kosher. Ask clarifying questions and really listen to the answers offered, then act on the reality. That is growth. That is the real pattern busting. This is the gathering of wisdom. Note, waxing gibbous moons. This is the first of the waxing gibbous moons. The overall theme of this part of the moon cycle are action and will, which is what I was talking about in the magician. That's action. The magician imposes his will onto the physical world and creates his own reality here in the Six of Wands. So before you can take action, you need this time to reflect and be discerning. Based on your reality. Where have you been already? Where don't you need to tread any further? And what have you taken away? I mean, my mentor that I follow, Jordan at Waters Above Crypto, if you haven't, go check out his channel on YouTube. He's an incredible person. But anyway, he always said that your greatest mistakes are your greatest opportunities. And what he means by that is by being the alchemist, you can transmute any situation that you might perceive as a terrible or, painful experience, but what did you get out of it? How did it make you grow? And that's what discernment card here is telling us as well, is how do you perceive the situation? Your perspective is everything in this. Is this a problem or the end of the world, or is it an opportunity? So this discernment, this decision that you have to make is, how am I going to approach this circumstance? Because that is going to determine how its outcome. The energy you take going into it is what's going to be reflected in the result. Okay, so moving on to our angels and ancestors, I would like to see Earth Mother feel loved and comforted. Okay, in the intro, if you watched it at all, I did mention that there was some mother or nurturing energy with the Sun conjunct Venus in the sign of Virgo. This Virgo being the Earth Mother. This could be a need or a desire for affection or companionship. Maybe this discernment is you taking a look at your close relationships and what you've been getting out of them, if they are serving you, if they're for your highest good, if they nurture you and feed you like a mother would. I'm not implying that this relationship is like that of your mother, but just that kind of care and devotion that comes out of that partnership. So there could be, again, some healing and understanding in that realm as well. All right, next to that we have our Mystical Wisdom Oracle, Archangel Raphael, provider of healing for mind, body, and spirit. So that could be one of your angels that is assisting you this month if you are taking a deeper look at some issues, and if you've recently received a painful experience, you can call on Archangel Raphael to help speed and gain clarity and understanding about the experience and how it's meant to heal and evolve you. And we have the Journey of Love card, Seed of the Heart, number 25. I'm going to read about that. Within each of us is a divine seed of love waiting to blossom into fullness. We don't always know what type of blossom we shall be, however, and sometimes if we try to figure it out in advance, the blossoming itself can cause us anxiety, pain, or fear because it is taking us into an unknown, unexpected direction. We may even fear that the direction we are heading is away from our life path and purpose, as if that were even possible. The seed in the heart arises as guidance when we are unfolding in a new manifestation of the divine light within. It comes as encouragement to trust, to surrender, to allow it to be as open, unthinking, and ready for the unexpected as possible. A plant just needs the right condition to grow healthy, and if you ever have seen a blade of grass pushing up through a crack in a pavement, then you'll know that when something is meant to grow to the light, it will do so even against the most apparently insurmountable odds. This oracle brings you guidance. The right conditions are being brought to you, the most perfect support for your own divine blossoming. Trust. Know that the seed in your heart knows how to grow and life supports it. It is also a sign that something in your relationship is sprouting, a new energy. Don't be afraid to try new ways of relating now as your life energy supports it. Okay, so that kind of feeds into the Earth Mother energy that I was feeling. That, you're something is sprouting, changing, and growing. Your energy is supporting growth of this relationship. It is symbiotic, it's not parasitic. You feed each other's souls. All right. Next, we have the medicine deck card, the Dragonfly, number 27. All right. Dragonfly medicine is the dream time and the illusory facade we accept as physical reality. The iridescence of dragonflies' wings remind us of colors not found in our everyday experience. Dragonfly's shifting of color, energy, form, and movement explodes into the mind of the observer, bringing vague memories of a time or place where magic reigned. Some legends say that Dragonfly was once dragon and that dragon had scales like dragonfly's wings. Dragon was full of wisdom and flew through the night bringing light with its fiery breath. The breath of dragon brought forth the art of magic and the illusion of changing form. Then dragon got caught in its own facade. Coyote tricked dragon into changing form, and the shape of its new body became like dragonflies. In accepting the challenge to prove its power and magical prowess, dragon lost its power. Dragonfly is the essence of the winds of change, the messages of wisdom and enlightenment, and the communications from the elemental world. This elemental world is made up of the tiny spirits of plants and the elements of air, earth, fire, and water. In essence, this world is full of nature spirits. If Dragonfly has flown into your cards today, you may have forgotten to water your plants. On another level, you may need to give thanks to the food you eat for sustaining your body. On the psychological level, it may be time to break down the illusions you have held that restrict your actions or ideas. That might be what this discernment is too, is breaking out of these illusions. With the moon in Pisces, that's a very illusory energy. It's easy to be deceived right now. And I mean, there could be a magician around you. Like magicians, that's their job, is to deceive you and cause illusion and deception. That might be standing in the way of your personal victory. And perhaps that's the challenge this month, is to see through the deception, whether it's self-deception or a spell that somebody else has put on you, proverbial, not literally, but just that spell being someone telling you can't do something, for example, and you believing it. So maybe you breaking free of that illusion of self and what you're capable of is what's helping you break through these challenges that you've been facing. Okay. If Dragonfly has flown into your cards today, you may have forgotten to water your plants. Okay. Dragonfly medicine always beckons you to seek out the parts of your habits which you need to change. Have you put on too much weight? Have you started to look like a scarecrow? Have you tended to the changes you have wanted to make in your life? If you feel the need for change, call on Dragonfly to guide you through the mists of illusion to the pathway of transformation. See how you can apply the art of illusion to your present question or situation, and remember that things are never completely as they seem. Okay. And now we're going to move on to the Anima Mundi card. The archetype that we started the reading with, number 78. This has a Piscean feel to it too, just being at the end of a cycle. The Pisces is the end of the zodiac wheel. And the World card is the end of the major arcana, and this is the last card in this deck. So the soul of the world, all that is. Anima Mundi epitomizes the principle, accept all, reject none. Simply put, it is the living soul of the world in all its multifaceted, multidimensional layers, bonded together by loving cosmic forces. Diversity is celebrated, multiplicity is honored, and nothing is denied embrace. Constructs of separation dissipate into the wonderful mess of shared consciousness. Anima Mundi is the link between the literal and the imaginal, the rational and the mythic. It is the connective fiber that makes life meaningful. This card indicates an initiation on the level of the soul. You will awaken the unique light within and witness how this light contributes to the radiance of the entire universe. You will sense yourself as a critical note in the cosmic orchestra. Destiny is altered as you hear the enchanted melody of all living things. Anima Mundi is the energy behind the World card and the Tarot deck. Both carry themes of universal unity, completeness, and embrace. The embrace of Anima Mundi is available anytime, anywhere, to anyone, day or night, rich or poor. It is a process of unveiling our resistance to its love, tending to the sacred details of life. And I kept getting this sense of gardening and working with the earth. Some of you might have gardens or, get joy in maybe making clay pots or something that you're working with your fingers in the earth. And you get connection that way, especially with the magician pointing down to the earth. Okay. All right. I think that is all I have for you this full moon reading, pile 2. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments below, and check out your monthly readings by sign. Take care till next time. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, finally, we're on to pile 3. We have the Dragonstone, working with the heart and the root chakra, or the heart and the crown chakra. It's like the heart is the middle that connects the upper and lower chakras. So I think it can go in either direction. So first we're going to take a look at your archetype card. We have the Mother, number 1. Okay. The Womb of Life. It looks like a pearl sitting in there in a nest surrounded by a snake. All right, we'll read about that at the end and see how that ties in. But I did mention in the intro about how this full moon could have themes of healing around a mother wound because of Venus conjunct the Sun, opposite Moon, and conjunct Chiron, the wounded healer. So we have 3 tarot cards. We have our Syrian Starseed card in the middle, and then we have our traditional Rider-Waite cards on the side. So starting in the middle, transition. Ooh, the Death card. Number 13, ruled by Scorpio. We're coming up on that season in tropical zodiac on October 21st. So this is a huge transformation, a change. It could be elevating your vibration. Let's see what's next to that. The 8 of Wands, Mercury and Sagittarius energy, fast-moving communication and messages. Quickness. And then the Sun. Wow. The light is very bright. I mean, clearly this is the Death card and it's showing a transition of this soul going into the light. I'm not saying that's going to happen for anybody. I don't predict medical or, death-related things, but this is metaphorical, going towards the light. So again, leaving behind a lower vibrational self, a heavier self that was rooted in the physical, becoming light, becoming a light body, letting your inner child and your light shine to the world. And this 8 of Wands could be, again, you spreading your love out all over the world and sharing your love with everyone, your experience. There's just there's a freedom here, a complete unveiling or unburdening. When they say when you die, it's a relief to be free of your physical body. People that come back, they're like, wow, it's so dense down here, and this could be your soul's experience. With the sun that shines on the full moon, there's definitely something being released, but in a good way. It's headed upward, the upward spiral, as opposed to the downward. And it's interesting because I mentioned in the Dragon's Blood about this is the heart chakra, right? And how it could go either way, the upward spiral to the crown or the downward to the root. It's the connecting factor in the middle, which is why it makes it so powerful. But I'm going to continue to read these oracle cards. And what's interesting for your pile? I had 2 Journey of Love cards come out, and no other pile had that. So I'm going to start with those, actually, and we'll see what we got. The Temple, number 59. And the other one is Towering Magnificence, number 30. Wow. Okay, so these 2 cards look very similar. It's like 2 pillars, 2 towers. Towering Magnificence in the Temple. So to me, it could represent the pillars of Jachin and Boaz, the conscious and the subconscious, the hidden and the mundane, the occult and the mundane. But it's like this is a bridge between, this transition is the bridge between those 2 pillars. Like the High Priestess sits between them on the second major arcana card. Something, again, it's coming full circle. It's interesting that pile 2, if you're coming from there, that your archetype card was the last card in the deck. And here we have pile 3 being the first card in the deck. And I shuffled them thoroughly. So that's very interesting. It's like an ending in the last card, putting a death to the old self. And a new self is being reborn. Because there's an understanding, a rebalancing, a recalibration, a healing, some kind of light penetrating. Okay, let's go ahead and read about the two towers there in the journey of love. So, towering magnificence comes first. It's number 30. You are entering the presence of the truly great and sublime divinity. It is without form, yet exists within all forms. It is humbling, and yet asks nothing of you. It is. It just is, and when we encounter it, we are moved beyond words, beyond mind, and into realms of the heart that we may never have experienced before. It takes a brave soul to meet the towering majesty of divine presence. It can be a terrifying experience as limitations, preconceived notions, and identities crumble in the wake of its light. You are being brought to this place out of love because you are ready. Your soul has been craving connection to something much larger than itself, to find something worthy to which it can devote itself entirely. This greatness is becoming available to you now to be witnessed to the extent that is helpful, so that you may find the greater purpose of service which your heart craves. You are ready. This oracle brings your comfort to your inner path, your opening up to direct experience of the divine presence is happening now, according to divine timing and grace. This is also confirmation that you are connecting with your spiritual guidance more consciously now, and that any sense of self that appears to be falling away from you now is because your divinity has outgrown it and a new awareness is taking its place. That's what I was feeling like in this transition card. It's leaving behind that denser self, that lower vibrational resonation, which, if you think of physics, when atoms are moving very rapidly, that's it. When they slow down, they're very dense and heavy. But when they're a higher frequency, the wave pattern is more rapid and frequent, and the light is more intense. So I just feel like, again, your cells are being infused with this kind of energy that's really bringing you closer to the divine. And some of you, I feel like, are becoming this mother to the world, mother to yourself. But there's a huge opening of this heart chakra that's just going to allow you to pour out this love over the world. And now let's read about the temple, number 59. I believe that has to do with the body being your temple. So maybe in better caring for your temple is what's going to help you release any density that you've been holding on to or exhibiting or vibrating at. But the lover and the beloved meet in sacred place. They take respite from cares of the world, entering into sanctuary where only they exist. You are in need of this meditation, making love, connection, and dance, intimacy, and surrender into the moment. Your body and soul need to enter into the temple and participate in sacred ceremony. Choose to gift this to yourself. Set aside time. Turn off the computer and the mobile phone. Turn on music and set the lighting. Be in the present moment. This oracle brings guidance to take time out and smell the flowers, savor the pleasures of life, and renew your connection to the inner lover. Your sensuality wants to come out and play. You are encouraged to explore scent, touch, taste, and feeling. You are encouraged to play with color. What moves you? What brings you into connection with yourself in this moment again? It is the wholeness of divine self-connection in sacred space that will best nourish you now. And that's like the wholeness of these two experiences of the left and the right hand path. The unification of self, becoming whole within self, is what connects these nodes of the battery and keeps the energy flowing through you. Okay. So that's all it says about the temple. It's more about, being present, taking a break from the cares of the world, honoring and setting aside that time for yourself, in order to you to connect with this higher frequency energy. And I feel like a lot of you, when I was guided to speak about the body being the temple, you taking care of it, cleaning it out, detoxifying it. Some people physically releasing weight from the body in order to lighten you up. Of course, always do that in a safe and gradual manner. Everybody's body is different, so listen to your body and attend to it is what the temple is encouraging us to do, is to tend to our physical vessel as needed in order for it to function at its highest level. Okay, and the Queen of the Moon Oracle. Sorry. All right, we have self-reflection. Interesting now. We have three figures, a left, right, and a middle. Self-reflection. Waning gibbous. So that's the time immediately after the full moon when we start this release. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at number 17. Be curious about your own nature. Choose to turn inwards to quietly contemplate who and what you are and want. The more you know about yourself, the more you are able to steer yourself well. Know thyself. Know that what you believe and why, yet be open to development of new beliefs and ways of being. I am not afraid to look deeply at myself in all aspects. Both scientists and spiritual practitioners believe there is much benefit to be had in self-reflection. The process involves us thinking about what is happening, how we react, and make sense of it. It exposes our strengths and weaknesses and gives us information to make changes if we choose to. It gives us a small respite in the busyness of life and allows our brain to make some sense of the chaos we experience each day. A self-reflection is something we would all benefit from doing. Why don't we do it? First, self-reflection requires us to slow down somewhat and turn our awareness inward, something that does not come naturally to some and especially not the highly extroverted. Starting small and maybe getting assistance with someone else as a guide can solve this. Second, some people are not sure exactly how to self-reflect and so do not try. To change this, examine the various ways of self-reflect during a regular 5-minute recap of the day as you commune home or before dinner. Sit quietly and think about all that has happened to your reactions to it on this moon, every moon cycle. Record how you feel each day. There are many ways to self-reflect and one will suit you. Yeah, journaling can be very helpful. When we get our thoughts out on paper, we're better able to examine them. Third, some people self-reflect, but when they do, they don't like the feelings of vulnerability, anger, guilt, or even defensiveness that incurs. Why go there when it isn't pleasant? Here is where we grow our self-responsibility. Short-term pain will certainly be worth long-term gain if we do not ignore the elephant in the room. A regular practice of self-reflection allows us to intercede before problems get too big. We can, for example, catch ourselves before something gets way out of hand. We can apologize and make amends to someone for our mistake. We can catch negative patterns and stop them in their tracks. The theme of waning gibbous moons, of which this is the first, is the process of self-reflection and building resilience. Companion stone or metal, the tiger's eye, which is interesting because that was the stone I chose for pile 1. So if you felt drawn to that pile, perhaps you should check it out as well. Not required though. Okay. Your angels and ancestors card, we have High Priestess, harness mystic power. Well, didn't I mention that this appeared to be the High Priestess sitting between the two pillars? So let's go ahead. And that card's ruled by the moon. And it has to do with your feminine intuition and your higher knowing. Okay? Connection to the divine. Let's find out what the book says specifically. About the High Priestess. There's another card in this deck called the High Priest, which is the masculine counterpart. Here we go. Harness mystic power. Align with the light and focus on all things positive. Yeah. Ascension. The High Priestess is the physical embodiment of the divine feminine, the goddess in human form. She has had many names through the time and space, but her essence has remained similar, fierce, powerful, and disciplined. In many traditions, particularly pre-Christian, the High Priestess was in charge of spiritual and religious orders and was the voice of authority and guidance from the gods. The High Priestess in this deck is the consort and partner of the High Priest. If you look at them together, you will see they mirror each other's energy. And here we have a picture of a mirror about self-reflection. She is joined by a black cat representing the Egyptian goddess Bast, who protects her from lower energies, and she stands strong in her glory and power. You are a mystic with the capacity to connect with energies that go beyond the human senses. Within you is a force of magic that is directed by your will. There is an opportunity for you to rise up at this time, but it requires dedication and discipline. You are being guided to look at what you are working on or at the situation before you determine before you and determine where your priorities lie. If you are unable to figure that out, you must use your intuition and discernment to focus on what will bring you closer to your goal and the happiness of everyone involved. When this card arrives, it's also important for you to check in with your intuition, as it will give you guidance that will be important for your growth. All right, so the wife came up already. The high priestess has been coming through for me a couple times. So I'm going to do something again I haven't done for any other pile. This is going to be a goddess oracle, goddess guidance oracle. Is there a goddess that is assisting pile 3 or that pile 3 can work with in their self-reflection? Isis came out. Past life. The situation involves your past life memories. So again, this could be some of you astral traveling to the Akashic records, getting in touch with your life record and where you've been, the people and experiences you've had in the past. You could be getting downloads from higher self and source that tells you, yes, this is who you are in a past life. This is why you came back here. Some of you had unfinished business, or you're being drawn back into those patterns of living that you experienced previously. And underneath the deck here, I have Kuan Yin for compassion. Release judgments about yourself and others and focus on the love and light that is within everyone. So yeah, releasing judgments. Higher self has no time for opinions or the opinions of others. It's, recognized and again, seeing the light in everybody, seeing their purpose, accepting them for what they are and not judging them. Okay, I have the Oracle of Mystical Wisdom here. Cheer up, live in the moment. Okay, yeah, it's hard to ascend if you're living in the past, or if you're feeling tied. I mean, if you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. So this is telling you to live in the moment and be present, because that's how you access how you connect the battery and bring yourself closer to the divine, is you can only do that when you're fully present. And again, this has to do with the perspective of looking at your past experiences and what they had to teach you. They all were necessary to lead you to this point in your life. And finally, we have the bear for your medicine card. I'll read about him. Number 5. The strength of bear medicine is the power of introspection. It lies in the west of the great medicine wheel of life. Bear seeks honey, or the sweetness of truth, within the hollow of an old tree. In the winter, when the Ice Queen reigns and the face of death is upon the earth, we started the reading with the death card, Bear enters the womb cave to hibernate, and we started with the mother in the womb to digest the year's experiences. It is said that our goals reside in the West also. To accomplish the goals and dreams that we carry, the art of introspection is necessary. Yeah, self-reflection. To become like Bear and enter the safety of the womb cave, we must attune ourselves with the energies of the eternal Mother and receive nourishment from the placenta of the Great Void. The Great Void is the place where all solutions and answers live in harmony with the questions that fill our realities. If we choose to believe that there are many questions to life, we must also believe that the answers to these questions reside within us. Each and every being has the capacity to quiet the mind, enter the silence, and know. Many tribes have called this space of inner knowing the Dream Lodge, where the death of the illusion of physical reality overlays the expansiveness of eternity. It is in the Dream Lodge that our ancestors sit in council and advise us regarding alternative pathways that lead to our goals. This is the power of Bear. Yeah, I did mention some of you astral traveling, maybe trying to contact and connect with ancestors, angels, and guides. Some of you may be having a psychedelic experience this month, which can bring a lot of light and clarity to your inner mind if used correctly. And the female receptive energy that for centuries has allowed visions, mystics, and shamans to prophecy is contained in the very special bear energy. In India, the cave symbolizes the cave of Brahma. Brahma's cave is considered to be the pineal gland that sits in the center of the 4 lobes of the brain. If one were to imagine an overview of the head, the top of it would be a circle. The south would be the forehead, the north the back of the skull, the west would be the right brain, and the east the left brain. Bear is in the west, the intuitive side, the right brain. To hibernate, Bear travels to the cave, which is the center of the four lobes where the pineal gland resides. In the cave, Bear seeks answers while he or she is dreaming or hibernating. Bear is then reborn in the spring like an opening of spring flowers. For eons, all seekers of the dream time and the visions have walked the path of silence, calming the internal chatter, reaching the place of rites of passage, the channel of pineal gland. From the cave of Bear, you find the pathway to the dream lodge and the other levels of imagination or consciousness. In choosing Bear, the power of knowing has invited you to enter the silence and become acquainted with the dream lodge, so that your goals may become concrete realities. This is the strength of Bear. So yeah, a lot of you will be doing spiritual exploration. I think spending some time alone, obviously, in contemplation and reflection. But there's going to be a lot of peace. And like I said, this whole reading opened up with light, just immense amounts. It's like a light bulb goes on and suddenly things make sense. Like there's so much clarity to be gained here at this full moon. Okay, I'm going to finish off with this archetype card of the mother, since we've been coming back to this theme. And all right. I mean, the mother is the source, right? The source of the light, of divine light. You're the source of that. It comes through you. The mother, the great mother, the feminine, the source. We begin our archetypal story with the mother's love. Through her sensual, fertile, and life-giving energy, all creation takes form. Regardless of our birth story, each of our hearts beat for the first time in the warm womb of the mother, where she offered resources from her body for the building of our own. Yet her tale is not so simple, as the mother, especially on the earthly plane, contains both light and dark aspects of the feminine. With the best of intentions, the mother wraps her loving arms around her creations and begins to grip what she meant to set free. The mother both nurtures and prohibits growth. She gives yet clings. She creates yet restricts. Amid this complex energy, the mother holds the key to the eternal challenge of love. And that duality of that feminine energy is apparent in the High Priestess card with the dark and the light pillar. You know, she loves and nurtures all the light aspects of the mother, glowing, generative, creative, and nurturing. But the dark aspects, dim, exhausted, controlling, limiting, smother, that word that's called the smother, you know, the one that the helicopter parent. But so the side notes here in the book say, notice how the mother archetype is expressed in nature. This is perhaps the most balanced and benevolent form of the mother's grace. The mother is part of the trifecta, maiden, mother, crone. Those are the three phases of the moon, the waxing, the full, and the waning, representing the three phases of feminine energy. Because of the relationship between them, take special note when these cards appear in one reading. Okay, so I don't get those all together here. But we do have three feminine figures here in the reflection card. So maybe that's what it's referring to. These three phases. I mean, you might be in the maiden form of your life, you know, the youth, the mother form where you're of childbearing age and you become a mother. And then the crone is the old, wise, experienced woman who's gone through menopause and her fertility days of physical procreation are gone. So, but each phase has a purpose and a strength and a wisdom to be gained from. So I mentioned again, some of you in your experience, you're going to become like mothers to the world and help nurture and grow other creations, you know, that end up following you and looking up to you for guidance as one would to a mother. So I think a lot of your answers this month are going to be achieved internally. That, again, this is just telling you the message is coming. Remain clear, open, relaxed, honor your body, prepare it to receive this energy that's coming in. Because if you're too dense, you won't be able to absorb this light as part of you. It just won't. It'll be really painful. Like they talk about ascension symptoms, you know, how the body adjusts to new light codes and frequencies. Well, it's going to be a lot easier when your vessel is maintained to the best of its ability. Okay, thank you so much, Pile 3. This was a really profound and heartfelt reading. It really lived up to the Dragon's Blood Stone meaning. research that more on your own if you'd like, or work with it independently. But I really thank you for joining me. And if you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments below, and check out your monthly sign readings for October as well. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.